Hello, everybody. Welcome to a final Gameweek 38 deadline stream for the 2022 FPL season. Apologies for the late start. I had some technical issues. This is my fault. We're joined by two fantastic guests in FPL Inzaghi, Ryan, and FPL Cam, also known as Cam Z, I believe, who are both fantastic managers and are going to be here with us to kind of guide us through this last 30 minutes of panic. So, Ryan, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. It's good to be here. The final game week, right? So we're only, half an hour, 45 minutes away from deadline now. The nerves are settling in. I'm sure, the team news is starting to leak out and managers are frantically responding. So we're going to do our best to respond to that as well as we get closer to deadline. I'm doing okay. The rank's not great. So the pressure's off a little bit, but there are mini leagues to care about. So I do have a couple of eyes on my mini league rankings as well.
Nice. And Cam, how are you doing?
Good, good. Excited. Final day. I also can't wait for the season to end as well a bit. Could do with some rest, but before that, let's sit down. Let's think through all the different options, and it really this final day I think comes down to what do you want to get out of it. I know each manager has their own specific set of goals, so you might want to do things a little different depending on what you're trying to do or what you're trying to achieve.
And guys, if you haven't heard of Cam, I'm sure you've heard of Inzaghi through TED Talks FPL, and also FPL Inzaghi has his own YouTube channel. Cam, you can listen to his Meet the Manager with Joe, I believe, last month. Cam, so I really enjoyed listening to you there and got some great insight. So welcome to the final stream of the season. So without further ado, we'll go through kind of each of our teams and what we're thinking, while we continue to look on, I guess, our phones and Twitter to see if there's any updated news. If the chat has any updated news, please do inform us, and we'll kind of, also be on the lookout as well. So first, I have Ryan's team up here. Ryan, do you want to kind of read out your team and tell us what what you're thinking?
Yeah. So the team looks okay. And for game week 38, I need a minor miracle to get in the top 100K. I think I'm 26 points outside. So not really confident of breaking into that. But we've got Ramsdale in goals, James, Trent, and Cancelo. I'm confident of Trent, Cancelo starting. With James, I'm not too sure whether he does start that game. We know that there will be some rotation from Chelsea, but there's not much I can do at this stage. I don't think it's worth taking a hit to remove James. If he does play, he's a fantastic asset. So I've got James there. In midfield, I've got Zaha, Son, Mount, and Coutinho. And then up front, I've got Nketiah, Kane, and Richarlison. On my bench, I've got Gordon, Burn, and Cody. Really, the only player I'd be confident in coming off the bench would probably be Dan Burn. I don't want to see Gordon. I don't want to see Cody in that starting 11. So my transfer plans at this stage, I was hoping to not have to take a hit, but I think with Everton securing their safety, I just don't think Richarlison starts in that fixture against Arsenal. I think that now Everton is safe. Richarlison has been absolutely flogged. I think that we'll see Richarlison benched in that game. So at this stage, my transfer plans are Coutinho to Luis Diaz from Liverpool. We've heard some rumours that Salah is going to be benched, which I think improves Diaz's chances of starting. And then Richarlison to Ivan Toney. So Coutinho to Diaz and Richarlison to Ivan Toney. I think that looks okay. And I'm probably just going to keep the captaincy on Son.
Diaz. Okay. I like it. I don't like the fact that you think Richarlison will be benched, because I do believe, Cam, you have Richarlison as well?
I do, yeah. I'm not confident on him starting either, so I think I'm probably going to need to find a replacement.
Inzaghi, so the general consensus on Richarlison is not so much a source, but just the fact that they've kind of kept their safety, and we're all assuming that Lampard's going to maybe give the young guys a little bit of rest. And I think Richarlison was carrying an injury for a couple of weeks as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but not confident, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was streaming with the world number 5 just before we came onto this stream, and he was talking about Richarlison. He's just been absolutely flogged this season. Do you remember even before the season started, he was playing all those games for Brazil, and then he was traveling as well for World Cup qualifiers, and there was some talk that Richarlison would get a break midway through the season and have a bit of a rest, but with Everton struggling so much and Calvert-Lewin out injured, he never really got that rest. And he's kind of carried Everton to safety on his back. And it looks as though, as you mentioned, he's been carrying a bit of an injury. You know, if I'm Frank Lampard, there's no real benefit in playing Richarlison in this game. Obviously, he's one of your best players, but Everton are safe now. I think that Richarlison will probably be benched. And yeah, I think he's deserved it for the way that he's played over the last few months.
Okay. Cam, any comments on Ryan's team?
Yeah, I think Ryan, your team looks like it's in good shape for this week. Obviously, I think your weak links are going to be Coutinho for sure, and probably Richarlison as well. Yeah, I think taking a 4-point hit this week is probably going to work out, just because we're replacing 2 players that are very unlikely to get anything, and we can bring in some firepower, and hopefully there'll be goals and you'll be able to get something out of it. In terms of money, are you able to do you have money in the bank to upgrade significantly? Like, could you take on a more expensive differential?
Yeah, well, I've got 0.9 in the bank, and so one of my original thoughts were to go from Coutinho to Foden. The reason why I'm kind of not so keen on that is I just don't think Foden's ceiling is as high as like a Luis Diaz. I think Foden's a good pick, but I kind of see him getting like a 7 or an 8, whereas I think Luis Diaz playing at home against Wolves, that's a great fixture. Villa defensively been tough. So I kind of prefer Diaz to Foden. Another midfielder I thought was perhaps James Maddison. We're hearing that Leicester are likely to be at full strength, so that would mean James Maddison starts. If I downgrade Richarlison to Tony, it gives me, I think, 8.5 in the bank, which, I mean, I don't really have 8.5. When I sell Coutinho, it gives me 8.5 in the bank. So there's not too much else. I can't stretch to a Mane. I can't stretch to a De Bruyne. And at that price bracket, getting a midfielder for sub 8.5, I think Luis Diaz is probably the best pick, unless you're thinking of someone else in that price category. There's Jota, perhaps, as a differential.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how aggressive you want to be, because there are differentials, like real differentials, the likes of Bowen, Vissa. There are choices you have if you really want to mix it up with that final slot.
Right. In terms of Leicester, I think I'm just scrolling as we're speaking, guys. But I think I've read somewhere that Barnes is guaranteed to start. Does that sway you in that direction anyway? Of course, the news is that Leicester are at full strength, so we would assume that means Matter starts as well. But
yeah, it does. I mean, we saw how lethal the Leicester assets were in double game week 37. I think part of the reason was for that fixture against Watford, and so maybe I should be thinking about adding a Havertz or a Pulisic to a Mason Mount. I think if those guys are going to start, they're great options, but I just don't have as much confidence that Pulisic and Havertz will start compared to Luis Diaz. I think for me, like, expected minutes probably swings it more in Diaz's favour. And then if I'm comparing Diaz with Maddison and Barnes, Barnes did well against Watford, but I think I would go Diaz first, Maddison second, and then Barnes third. And so if I can afford Diaz, I would just prefer him over a Leicester player.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I agree with you.
There's something to be said as well to discuss, like the motivations in the final day. I think that Leicester game against Southampton, like they don't have much to play for there. I know they're filling a full strength team, and that's all good and well, but how likely are they to smash a few past them?
How about Tony? Sure. Why going there? Obviously, he's a very popular option this game week.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like X narrative, right? It's strong in Tony. The potential to send Leeds down, playing, at home on the final day. I live in Australia, and so I haven't seen many Premier League games live. But one of the games I did see was Manchester United playing at home against West Ham, their final home game for the season. And this is when Ronaldo was there and Tevez was there. And there was this massive parade afterwards. They walked around the field and they thanked the fans. And there was this real kind of ambition to put on a show. And that's always kind of stayed with me. And I think we've seen that recently, like Newcastle last week against Arsenal. They were really up for that game. Last game at home, last game at St. James's Park for the season. I think Brentford have had a great season. They'll want to, put on a show for their fans. Leeds defensively are quite weak. I know that they're also weak from set pieces. And Tony, I don't know if you've seen many games of Brentford recently, but he seems to be the option that they're looking for at the back post. And then he's the one that's kind of squaring the cross or looking for one of their big centre halves or Visser at the back post or kind of running across the 6-yard box. So I think Tony's great because he's got assist potential. He's on penalties. He's also got goal threat, and he's versing, a pretty weak defence. So all those things really kind of line up. And yeah, that's why I really like Tony. He's a good price as well.
The other thing is Leeds are very indisciplined. So they give away red cards and penalties, things like that. So I think it's also likely to be a very passionate, fiery sort of game. So it would not surprise me if Tony does well. And also Tony's actually top of Joe's goals imminent table of the season. So
yeah, he'll love you mentioning that.
Whatever there's a player to go for. That's the time.
Okay, let's go to Cam's team first, and then do the Q&A. Because by the way, guys, we have 30 minutes till the deadline for the listeners. So just keep that in mind, and hopefully there's no side crash. So you want to do maybe 10 minutes early deadline before the deadline, just to be safe. But here we go, Cam. Please do read out your team and kind of what you're thinking. And I'm very interested to hear what you do with Mahrez, because he's a big pain in my team as well.
Yeah, he's difficult. So my team is Ramsdale in goal. I have Trent, Robertson, Alonso, and Cancelo in defense. Midfield is Salah, Mount, Foden, Mahrez, and Saka, and I have Richarlison up front. So that is my team at the moment. I'm planning to do at least 2 transfers. I'm considering a -8, but probably will stick with just 2. And I think the problems with this team are pretty obvious. They are, at least to me, Salah, Richarlison, and Mahrez. I'm going to need to find some sort of solution that involves those 3 players. I'll probably only remove 2 and keep the other. One thing to note is that my bench is Davies, Pukki, and Richardson, which is actually not bad.
It's great, actually.
Davies especially can come in and cover. So with that in mind, and the fact that Guardiola doesn't tend to make many substitutions, although it's the final day, I don't know. If they're losing or drawing with like 20 minutes left, surely Mahrez will come on. So if he doesn't start, that is... I'm really hoping that in the next 20 minutes we might get some sort of news regarding Mahrez, but I don't have my hopes up, to be honest.
No chance, Cam. No chance.
That would be amazing. If I found out that Mahrez starts, then obviously he's an amazing player to own and have. So
yeah,
I think tactically, in the way that the game went last time, they're going to need someone like Sterling that runs and defends better. So
I think in your shoes, keeping Mahrez is not so bad, because you do have bench cover. I mean, obviously you could have that cameo and you live with it. But someone's asking, I think Bill Gates is asking, why would you not keep Mahrez? Mahrez, according to Emma's prediction, is at 30% to start. So the prediction is just basically a group of, I guess, pretty solid predictors saying that he's unlikely to start. Plus, Luke also is saying he sees, I think, Sterling to start over Mahrez. So I'm not really sure what his chances are to start again. Again, those are just predictions. It doesn't mean the end. But I'm not very confident. I know you said, Cam, prior to us going live, that you're also just gut-wise not confident that he starts.
Yeah. I think the starting front three for City is going to be Jesus, Foden, and Sterling. So with that in mind, it's very hard to hold on, and especially given the situation, if things will need to happen in the game, I think Mahrez will make a cameo appearance. So that makes it tricky to decide what to do with him. So that's partly why I'm considering the -8.
Yeah, Cam, you don't have any Spurs players, and all talk this week has been about Son and Kane. Are you thinking about selling Salah to Son, or are you just going to go without Spurs?
I think Salah to Son makes sense. It makes way too much sense.
Oh
and
my God. Guys, no James apparently.
Yeah, I saw that James and Alonso rumors, but how serious do you take that? How
Oh
serious do you take
I'm
that?
freaking out now.
I mean, what source are you looking at? Sam Martin?
Prost just texted me.
Oh, did he?
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, Sam Martin's saying he's hearing rumors. Sam Martin, the Leicester kind of correspondent, yeah, he's tweeted to say that it looks as he's hearing rumors that Alonso and James,
both.
No Alonso, no James.
Oh God, what's going on? What happens next then?
I think it makes sense actually for them not to play James this week. I think Tuchel's used this last game to basically try a whole bunch of new players, which also just means everything's up in the air. I think Alonso might play, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. The only Chelsea player I know I'm very confident will start is Rudiger. I don't even think Mount is guaranteed to start.
Oh, that's a big call. I mean, it depends. So my initial thoughts are, okay, well, who do I have coming off the bench if James doesn't even get on? I've got Dan Burn. If you don't have Alonso coming on, you've got Davies there. That's a great sub. But it might mean that you have to play one of your outfielders that you're hoping to potentially bench. Salah to Son makes sense. Just by the way, your team's so color coordinated. Looks great. But yeah, Salah to Son and then Mahrez is the tricky one. Yeah, I don't know where you go from there. Do you look? You've already got your 3 Liverpool. Or you could go Diaz. I guess if you're selling Salah, you could go for a Maddison.
Salah has to become Son, I think. I can actually go Salah and Mahrez to De Bruyne and Son. I have money in the bank.
Salah and Mahrez to De Bruyne and Son.
His team value is insane.
Done deal. Done deal. Yeah.
The problem is that I'm stuck with Richarlison and Pukki up front.
I don't think Pukki is the worst option.
Wow.
We've got Heaton playing in goals for United.
Heaton playing goal. All right.
Okay, guys.
There are leaks. There are actual things going on. I'm refreshing Twitter as well at the moment.
For the listeners, just want to update what we know so far. Again, these are just reliable ITKs. ITKs meaning in the nose. So no official news, but apparently Salah's been benched. Tottenham are likely to play their best team. Emi Martinez is benched for Villa. Leicester full strength. Barnes starts. And now we're just hearing that recent Alonso might not start. Again, none of this is official. It's just kind of the Twitter noise, so keep that in mind. And I'll just go to my team real quick, if you don't mind, guys. So I have Ramsdale in goal, Cancelo, Laporte, Trent, Robertson, James, Son, captain, Salah, Saka, Mahrez, Richarlison up top, and only Brownhill on the bench. So the issue now is that there's literally no one I can go. I want to take a hit to get rid of James for, besides Alonso. If I knew Alonso was going to start, then I'd do James to Alonso, and I don't mind that hit. But there's no defender I trust that's worth the hit, including a guy like Sessegnon. So now I have to get rid of Salah, and I was hoping James starts, which would mean I just go Diaz and Richarlison up to Kane. But I have 0.2 with that move, and a issue in Mahrez as well. So this is not good.
Yeah, it's difficult because if James doesn't play, Mahrez, there's doubts about him. Richarlison, there's doubts about him. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably just hold Mahrez and just hope for the best instead of taking a hit to remove him. I'd probably just go Salah and Richarlison out. And can you afford Kane and Diaz? Is that what you were saying?
Salah, Richarlison. Yes, I can, but that means that yes, I have Brownhill cover, which I don't mind, but now we know James is unlikely to start, and I'm not confident in Mars starting as well, Ryan. And so if you know, yeah,
This is so unfair. This is unfair. This should not be happening to you. You've worked so hard for these team news. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm panicking as well. So, there's literally not a single defender that's worth the hit because I have the rest of them. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the basic tenets of FPL, right? You don't take a hit for a defender. It used to be anyway before defenders became some of the best players in the game, but especially on the last day, we don't have any time to make up hits, so that's why I really don't like taking more than a 4-point hit this week.
How do you guys feel about Vardy, by the way?
Well, Vardy's starting. I mean, you know, he's a good option. When Vardy plays, he's always going to be a good option. I don't think he's as good as Kane, but if going Vardy enables you to take Richardson to Tony, for example,
yes,
I
can do that.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to ask you, Ryan and Cam. Oh no, 0.1 short of it.
Oh no.
Full panic mode.
Oh, why is that always the way?
Tony Rose yesterday.
Tony Rose today.
Yeah. My goodness.
You're kidding me. Oh, that's tough, mate.
Are you guys set on your teams, by the way? We should
be. No, not definitely not. I've done one transfer already. I did Salah to Son.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy.
But this last transfer, I have a choice now between Richarlison to Vardy or Mahrez to De Bruyne.
Well, Sonaldo, instead of going Diaz, could you go Jota?
Yeah, but I don't think Jota starts. I don't trust that.
Wait, Jota has to start though, right? Do you think they're going to start Firmino instead?
I don't know if Firmino's ready to start. I think it's Mane, Diaz.
Well, if Salah isn't starting, they have to play 3, right? So it would be Mane, Diaz, and Firmino, Origi. What do they do?
Oh, I
think Origi comes on. I think Origi will get minutes. It's his last game at Anfield. Yeah, I don't mind Jota. Could you go Mason Mount then instead?
I think Mount's a good pick. Good enough.
So Salah to Mount, Richarlison to Vardy.
Salah to Mount, Richarlison to Vardy. Yeah.
And then what was the third move?
Tony. Was that it? It's just that Diaz pick is the one I'm willing to sacrifice Kane for Diaz, not for
Mount.
Who's this Vardy? You know.
Yeah.
Oh God. This is not good.
Yeah, I think, you have to consider the ownership of the players who potentially miss out. So James missing out, he's very highly owned. Alonso the same. And so if these guys are missing out, other managers will have to rely on their bench players, which probably aren't great, or they're going to be forced into more hits, which I guess there's an argument there to suggest that hits are a little bit more palatable in that case. I'm not suggesting anything crazy, but you know, if these players who are highly owned are missing out, then there are going to be consequences for teams, whether that's bench players or whether that's hits. And that should embolden you, I think. That should give you confidence, thinking that, maybe the -4 to fix my team isn't going to be as damaging as I thought it could have been.
Yeah, I don't mind the hits. I'm also reading that Richarlison is likely rested. So there you guys. There you go, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, 15 minutes, guys. For anyone listening, you guys should start making your moves now because there's a chance the site crashes likely. So
Yeah, I don't want to risk it. I think so.
Ryan, are you set?
I think I'm set. It'll be Diaz and Tony in. Yeah. I might do the Richarlison to Tony move and then hold off on Diaz just in case we do get anything from Liverpool. Because we have had a few leaks from them in the past, haven't we?
Yep.
What are we doing for captaincy? Are we all on Son?
I'm on Son, yep.
I think I will be on Son as well. And hope that the rest of my players will make a difference.
Ryan, if you don't mind, if you're pretty set, and Cam as well, could you guys go through the questions? Because I need to figure this out.
Yeah, sweet. All right, we're getting heaps of questions in the chat. So any news on Kane? John asks about any news on Kane. John, what we do know is that Spurs full strength, that all of the players have travelled except for Romero. I'd be confident of Kane starting. I wouldn't be too concerned there. Any Chelsea news, Cam? Have we heard anything about the Chelsea lineup yet?
No, just that there are rumors that Alonso and James are not going to start for Chelsea. We do have some info that Leicester are going to be full strength. So for the people asking about team news, that means Vardy, Madison, and Barnes likely to start. We also, to sum up, no Liverpool news. It looks like Salah is going to be benched. That is what has been discussed. And Van Dijk as well, I think. There's talk of him potentially missing out, but we will see.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, they're all just rumors. We haven't had anything obviously confirmed. A couple of questions about captaincy. I'm sure that managers are thinking about a differential captain to try and make up some ground in mini leagues or overall rank. Apart from Kane and Son, and maybe even De Bruyne, I guess they're probably the top three options this week. Who do you like for captaincy?
That's tricky. From my standpoint, I think Son is by far and away the best captain this week. But other than that, if you're chasing, if you need something differential, De Bruyne is good. He's expensive. He's relatively low owned still. I'd also consider Chelsea maybe. I think Mason Mount is a legitimate captaincy option for people chasing. And I mean, if you have Harry Kane and Son, I think Kane is also potential captain this week. And then there's Liverpool. Liverpool, I think Mane, Diaz, potential captaincy choices as well.
Yeah, it's difficult to know. I've got Kane and Son, and there is a genuine temptation there to captain Kane over Son. But, I mean, at my rank, I'm not sure how much of a benefit I'm going to really get by going that way. But it's close between the two, and we might see a bit of a swing, whichever player scores more this game week. Questions are just rolling in. There's a question about Sterling as a punt for captaincy. I think we all kind of suggest that Sterling will start. Is that kind of the consensus? We all think Sterling will start.
Yeah, but it's so risky. Even then, you know.
It is very risky. He could definitely not start this game. I think they might decide to start Mahrez again, but I think it actually might depend on the defense and who's fit because Kyle Walker and John Stones were back in training, so they might come back in. If they come back in, I think that gives the likes of Mahrez more chance to start just because he gets more freedom to attack if he has Walker behind him.
We're hearing news that Zaha and Edouard start for Palace, no Mateta. If that helps anybody. Yeah.
Well, it's comforting to know Zaha starts, but if you're relying on a Mateta start in 38, I think you're in trouble. And I think there's some more news rolling in. One of your friends, Joe, FPL Joe, Sonaldo, he's taken a -8.
Oh my goodness. For what?
I'm not sure exactly. He's just said a -8 has been taken. So I think people are feeling a little rattled by the team news. A goalkeeper question: Schmeichel or Ramsdale? Who would you start over that? I'd probably start. I'd start Ramsdale. I know that Ramsdale hasn't kept a clean sheet recently, but that fixture at home against Everton looks to be a rotated Everton side. Schmeichel, Leicester,
and
equally.
Arsenal have to win as well. So
yeah, good stuff. We did miss a super chat. Oh, apologies. So Jane 90 asks, on a free hit, which one? Diaz and Lloris, Mane and Dubravka, or Mane and Raya?
I'm going Mane and Dubravka.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I would have said Diaz and Lloris or Mane and Raya. I don't know if I like the Dubravka shout, but they're all good options, I think, aren't they?
Yeah. I think Dubravka against Burnley probably more likely to keep a clean sheet than Raya. But I really like Mane as a punt on free hit. I definitely would go there if I was on free hit.
Tom, another super chat. He's saying Coutinho to Bowen, Maddison, or Kulusevski. What do you think, Cam? Selling Coutinho. Yeah.
It depends how many Spurs you have, I think. But I'd probably go Maddison, I think, from those three.
Yeah, I'd go Maddison as well. I think his ceiling's a bit high. Kulusevski is mostly about assists for him.
Richarlison not starting.
Oh, really?
Richarlison not starting confirmed.
Okay. Richarlison's not starting. There we go.
Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness.
I feel good about the hit now. Sweet. We've got a couple more super chats. So Violet Citizens asking, sell Elise from -4 for Martinelli, Mbumo, Barkley, Loftus-Cheek, or just play Gordon and Gelhardt. 18 points behind in first in mini league, looking for some upside. So if you're looking for upside, I think Martinelli or Mbumo are probably the place to go. I don't know if I trust Mbumo to deliver, though.
I'd go Vissa.
You go Vissa. Yeah, good shout. Yeah, I think I prefer Vissa over Mbumo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I go Vissa.
Good stuff. And Satish has given us a super chat, but hasn't asked a question. So maybe they're just taking some sympathy on Sonaldo as he panics.
Wait, can I get your attention for 3 minutes, guys? Because I don't know. Okay. All right. Calm down. All right. So I'm thinking of not swing right now and just doing Salah to Diaz, Richarlison to Kane. Hoping Mahrez does a cameo. Hoping James does a cameo, worst case scenario. Hoping, Mahrez starts, maybe James starts, who knows, right? Because the James one is not really, like, James and Alonso is just rumors. It's not really, like, nobody said confirmed or anything like that. Brownhill is there to cover just in case one of them doesn't come on. Instead of doing something like Diaz, Vardy, and then another hit, like, I just don't feel comfortable with a -8 here. I mean, I did all these combinations while you guys were taking over, so I really appreciate that. I did like a Mane, Wilson, Tony, did a Mane, Vardy, Vardy, Diaz, Vardy, and Barnes, and all that good stuff. But what do you think, guys?
Yeah, so just to recap, it's Richarlison to Kane, Salah to Diaz.
Diaz.
Yeah. Yep.
And you keep Mahrez.
Then just keep Mahrez and keep James.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not pretty, but I mean, you could take the hit to remove Mahrez in the hopes that whoever you bring in gets more than him +4. I mean, there are a number of options where that could work out, but
yeah, it looks like James and Alonso's likely not to start, but I don't know who can make out that -4.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, Mahrez has got a really great XGI when he's on the pitch. And even if he's on for a short period of time, he has shown that he can get involved in the goals, even in a 15, 20-minute cameo. So I don't know. I'd probably hold on to that because you're taking a -4. So straight away, whoever comes in needs to score more than that to make it up.
Yep.
And where you are in the rankings.
You do have it is a high potential game week though, right? Last day of the season, there are some really targetable fixtures. So I don't actually hate removing Mahrez for a hit if you're very sure. Like if we get news now in the next like 5 minutes that Mahrez doesn't start, I'll take the hit. So let's see.
Okay.
There's upside there. If you want to chase it, it's up to you.
Yeah, there is. All right.
You guys all set?
We had another super chat from Simon. Vardy and Son or Diaz and Kane. You need to make up points. If you're looking to make up points, I go Diaz and Kane.
Yeah, agreed.
Weakest team is Norwich. Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't think we're going to get Salah benched confirmed from probably the most reliable Liverpool in the know. I want to ask him about Diaz. What's the latest with Diaz, though?
Cancelo starts, Laporte starts. Oh, come on.
Oh, well, do we actually know if? Oh, come on! There's still
come on. Give me the Mahrez news.
Mahrez news, City news in general. I think very welcome at the moment.
Okay, listen. For the listeners, 4 minutes left, so please don't forget the deadline.
Yeah. I'm so nervous. I just want to know if Diaz is starting. Diaz starts. Diaz starts. Get him in. Get him in. Let's go.
James looks like he's starting. Nice. Come on.
Yes. Come on.
Make it happen.
Yes. Make it happen.
This is good. Honestly, I was never that worried that Diaz was going to start this game. I think he was always going to start.
I just want to make sure my team is saved.
This is what I've been doing. I've been scrolling down 15 times just to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 minutes, guys.
Oh man, Diaz starts. That is huge.
That is huge.
Yes.
So do we do Mahrez Diaz for hit? Do I do it?
I would.
You would?
Van Dijk benched.
I'm thinking it's worth it.
Yeah.
Cam, you got to stick with me. We got to go Mahrez.
Oh, James starts.
James starts. Come on.
Alonso doesn't. James starts. Come on.
By the way, FPL Inzaghi is a father of two with a third coming.
My son is. It's 11:30 at night. My son is literally behind that wall, asleep.
I love it. The passion is real.
Yeah.
Where did you read this, by the way?
Which one?
The James and Alonso news.
Let's Talk FPL.
Okay, that's very reliable.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a.
What's going on?
Is this legit?
What's going on?
There's a City lineup leak supposedly.
Give it to me.
But it's in Arabic, isn't it?
Yeah, there's the one in Arabic.
It's legit, Cam?
I don't know.
No Mahrez?
It does have Mahrez.
Okay, I'm sticking with Mahrez then.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick then.
Just stick.
The team looks pretty legit, to be honest. I don't know how they could know though.
Man, the tension is so good.
2 minutes, everybody.
I'm gonna stick.
Yeah, we gotta stick with
I would never forgive myself if I saw Mahrez after holding him for all this pain and he scores a hat trick on the final day.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be able to do this.
Alex in the chat and Bill Gates, I think they both sold James. Oh no.
Oh no. Alex? Alex is if it's Alex Kim, he is actually the best Korean FPL manager of all time. So
wow.
Shout out Alex. Yeah. Lives in London too, I think.
Nice.
I just benched Alonso just in case he comes off the bench. Ooh, it's dicey.
1 minute, everybody.
I thought Alonso would start.
No Alonso For anyone checking, no Alonso. He starts.
Just make sure your team's saved. Captain on Son. Okay.
All right. What will be, will be. I think I'm.
Okay, here we go.
Wow.
Gonna hold on to Riyad Mahrez. One last dance.
Oh, man. That's it.
That's it. That's the season.
Wow.
That's the season.
Oh, man, that was good drama for the final day. That was good drama.
Wow. The
Well,
energy
it's out of
has
our
been
hands
sucked
now.
out.
Now we can sit back and enjoy the games. I intend to
Yep, me too.
sit back.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be here for the next 30 minutes, guys, to, get ready for the joy or the pain of team news.
Yeah.
But again, thanks everybody for joining me. I know for the past 20 minutes I was very silent, and appreciate Inzaghi and Cam taking over and filling in and doing all the questions. So it was, I guess what are we going to talk about?
Well, I'm keen to hear what you think, because from a footballing perspective, there's a lot on the line today. The title, the top four, the relegation battle probably is the most interesting. Maybe we could just work our way through some of those topics.
Yeah, great few topics we can talk about. What should we talk about first? The title race?
Yeah, let's start at the top. Work our way down.
I've heard that the odds on Liverpool winning the league are 18% going into this game week. So I have a number of Liverpool fans, and they're hopeful, let's say.
So they're 1 point behind, but drastically behind in goal difference, right?
Yeah, they're behind enough in goal difference that it's not gonna factor in. It's gonna come down to results. They need City to drop points, basically.
Yeah, they have to win, and City has to tie or lose.
Yeah,
that's the only scenario. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen City be frustrated at home before. I can think of the Crystal Palace game earlier this season, where Palace were quite strong defensively and hit them on the counter-attack with a couple of goals. I think Gallagher scored and got an assist in that game. And Aston Villa have the capability to frustrate City. Their defense has been strong. We don't know what lineup we're going to get from them, because it looks as though Emi Martinez is benched. But yeah, I think Aston Villa have, the defensive resolve to keep City out. And the longer this game stays at 0-0, the more nervous the City crowd will be, the more frustrated and anxious they'll become as well. And that has an impact on the players. So I think it all depends on whether City can get an early goal. And if they can, I just don't see Villa being able to overturn that. But if they can frustrate them and keep it 0-0 at half time, then I think they're in with a real chance.
Brian, I see the United jersey behind you, and I was just wondering how kind of you got into football, and obviously you have very extensive knowledge of the game, and I think one of the things that that people try to fault is this overall rank, and how some people view overall rank as your knowledge of football, which is not true at all. It's as we know, FPL is a lot of luck, a game of luck, with smart decisions along the way. And Cam, even in your bio, you say FPL is a game of luck with your veteran history. I just want to know about your guys' background in football, and how you got to, I guess, this point in time.
Yeah, good question. So of course, living in Australia, probably the biggest barrier to enjoying the Premier League and getting into football is the time zone. And so when I was young, we didn't get access to watch Premier League games over the weekend. We couldn't watch them live. Australia didn't have any of the broadcast rights. So the only way I could watch football was Monday night kind of highlights show, which is like the match of the day that the UK get. And, you know, my dad was a United fan and kind of was born into that, if you like. Fairly fortunate to be born in 1991. And then the Premier League starts the next season and United just dominate from there. But yeah, just kind of watched highlight shows on Monday nights and got into it from there. And my love for football has just grown. It's definitely an addiction. My wife will often say to me, like, get off your phone and, you know, is there a deadline coming up? Because I'm always checking stuff, and it's terrible, you know, what it does to your sleep patterns and routines and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely love watching football. I've been to the UK a couple of times and I've managed to watch a few games as well. And yeah, just enjoy playing football. I scored a hat-trick today, by the way, playing football. So amazing. Yeah, feeling great about that. But yeah, look, you're right. You know, we're going to have good seasons in FPL. We're going to have bad seasons. Last season, I had a fairly good season. And in Australia, it's a bit different to the UK. Like, we talk a lot about overall rank history, but up until probably like 3-4 seasons ago, I didn't really care about any of that. It was just about your mini leagues and just about beating your mates. And so I've got a couple of ranks in like the, you know, the 1 million and, you know, the 500K mark and whatnot. And I didn't really know what overall rank was back then. I didn't care about it. But yeah, over the last 3 or 4 seasons, getting into it through Scout, of course, you start to become more aware of what the top 10K is and how kind of coveted that is as well. Had a stinker this season through a mix of bad luck, but also bad decision making. I'm a fairly impulsive guy, which can have its downside. You know, when it comes to FPL, I think I need to learn patience, and we might talk a little bit later about, you know, like the algorithms and expected points and how that's impacting FPL, because I really like to, I think that kind of objectivity is a really great way to balance out my subjectivity, because I am quite impulsive and emotional in my decision-making. So yeah, trying to kind of use that to temper my decisions. Had a poor season this season, but look, to be honest with you, I just really love football, really love FPL. And I don't get too upset if I don't have a great week, if I don't have a great rank, because you know what, I've got way more important things in my life. I just enjoy this because it's fun. So
yeah, I think you know, if I want to kind of speak for you, Ryan, I've really enjoyed listening to you and TED Talks FPL. I joked with Ted and said, "Hey, you replaced me with Inzaghi," but of course, all love, and you know, it's good to see you represent sort of the Australian FPL community, and there is a strong Australian FPL community, which is quite surprising because of the time zone difference. So. You know, good on you, and guys, do definitely check out Ryan. I think you're going to be much more involved in the scout stuff next year, and as well as your own YouTube channel. You know, a father, and I'm sure you have a lot of stuff going on, yet you make time for FPL, which speaks volumes. So yeah, and I'll get back to you because I want to, after, you know, introducing Cam to the viewers, I kind of want to ask both you guys about your playing style a little bit more in depth. So let's go to Cam. Cam, how about you? How did you get into football? Cam is a long-time veteran manager, and you know, I think in the scout forums, you're probably like 13, 14 years old when people didn't know you're that age, and later people discovered that you were a young kid that you know, older gents were kind of relying on for tips, and when I heard that was super interesting. And then you took a little bit of a break, I believe, Cam, because you got a little burnt out from FPL. So you know, we noticed that this season, where a lot of people, including myself, at times can get very emotional about this game. So yeah, tell us about your FPL and football story.
Yeah, I think we'll start with football. Yeah, I mean, I've been a football fan my entire life, thanks to my dad. He's a diehard Blackburn Rovers fan, and so am I. And yeah, I think that has been a big factor. And I found FPL a long time ago. I remember I had Paul Scholes in my team at one point. So you can imagine how old that is. Um, he was 8 million. I seem to remember his price. But
That is
yeah,
overpriced. That is overpriced.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I mean, that was 2005. I think it was even before rank history was saved. I had at least 1 or 2 seasons that I played before rank history was saved, and then yeah, since then I've had my rank history saved. But back then I didn't really stick with FPL. I played for a week or two. I played as like super casual. Play for 2 weeks and then get bored and then don't follow it anymore. But yeah, I came back a few years later and tore it up, so to speak. Had 4 top 10K finishes in a row, including finishing 84th in 2010.
Wow.
Yeah, so since then, I mean, after those 5 years playing the game really seriously and finishing top 10K a whole bunch, I went on a hiatus for 3 years. That was for a number of reasons. One, I wasn't feeling too passionate about FPL anymore. I had moved to America where the time zones were very, very brutal because I was on the West Coast. So games, the 3 p.m. kickoff would be 7 a.m. my time on a weekend. That's kind of a tough ask. So yeah, I couldn't give it the dedication that it required. So I stopped playing for 3 years. And since I moved back to Europe, I got back into it.
Nice.
And yeah, I think since then as well, I've been able to deal much better with variance and swings and things like that. So that has meant that I've been able to keep everything fun, even though, you know, it's been an up and down last couple of years, FPL wise.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've you know, the interactions we've had, Cam, I feel like you're very even keeled regardless of the results. So I guess that break definitely helped you kind of you know, become more experienced in a sense. So I'm very interesting to hear that. 20 minutes till the team news comes out. Ryan first. So tell us about your playing style, kind of whether you're a statistics guy, more of an eye test guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I kind of talking about time zone and whatnot. It does make it difficult to be an eye test guy. I mean, just trying to have the time to watch the games live is difficult. Watching the highlights as well is quite difficult because to be a real eye test guy, I think you need to watch more than the 3-minute highlight package that you get sent. So yeah, I do like watching as much football as I can. And kind of picking up things from that, average positions, movements off the ball, those types of things that the stats don't always pick up for you. But yeah, increasingly, I've kind of moved more towards this Excel spreadsheet FC type of team, which I think the line in the sand was kind of drawn with Denison King this season. Yeah, look, I mentioned expected points and kind of the algorithm before. I think over the past few seasons, I've kind of operated more as like a head-to-head style manager, you know, looking at kind of explosive picks over a short period of time, looking for that kind of free hit, best team this game week type of team. And I think that kind of still comes out in my picks. I was doing a stream with a friend of mine, FPL Dare, on YouTube. He's got quite a decent following. And we were kind of picking free hit teams each week. And I was doing really well on that. And I think I kind of backed myself to pick these good short-term picks. But I think one of the downfalls in my manager style is that I can grow quite frustrated with players. And I think I can, in my efforts to try and get a great team this game week, I can neglect long-term and future planning. And so I've tried to look at, we talk about the longer term, but I've tried to look at expected points over a period of time, because that to me is a fairly good objective measurement of a player's value and the player's fixtures all kind of rolled into one. So to answer your question about what type of manager I am, I think I'm still evolving. I don't think I could say that I'm an upside chaser like Late Riser. I'm not a patient manager like Zofar. I'm kind of in between, but I think generally speaking, what works best in FPL is to be a more patient manager. And so I'm trying to become that through things like expected points and, you know, the influence of those kind of algorithms, if you like.
Nice. But before we get to Cam, City lineup has been out. Okay, here we go.
Oh,
Come on, Maris. Definitely not starting, huh? Apparently in the chat, so I'm not sure who actually.
have you seen the pic of Andy in the suit with the shorts?
Okay, we can get to the lineups in due time. We don't have
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
We don't have to go in now.
Mara starts apparently, but we'll see. So Cam, tell us about yourself, because Cam, Ryan, I hope to get to know you even more after our first stream together. I'm sure we'll do much more in the near future. Cam, I've actually learned a lot from you, Cam, interacting with you this year, and you have these golden nuggets here and there. One I can think of is how you value chasing price early in the season, and then you told me about tips that you picked up from Magnus Carlsen as well. So really interesting stuff. Tell us about kind of your managerial style in FPL.
Yeah, I tend to I wouldn't say prioritize team value, because that always comes out wrong, but more like I pay attention to price rises and make sure that when I'm on the good end of a swing more often than not, just because it's incremental value that gets added up over the season that is just there for you paying attention, by making sure that you check the price rises, you bring in players before you get rid of players before they drop, you buy players before they rise. It's pretty straightforward when it comes to how you build team value. It's just also about being careful about it. I think that's that incremental advantage. I'll take every single little thing that I can get, and team value is one of the ways that you can get an advantage, just because at the end of the season, I'm punting on Vardy this week as opposed to Tony. I don't know if that's going to work out, but the fact that I have the money means I have the option to, at least, whereas some people might have no choice but to take Tony instead. So just things like that. And also, I think what I'm trying to work on, I actually think I have the opposite problem too, Ryan, in that I plan too far ahead. I think about how my players are going to be, in 3 weeks' time. That happened to me this season when I brought in Madison in Gameweek 22. So I was like, oh, okay, Madison has loads of games in hand. I'm going to need him for Gameweek 30. He's guaranteed to have a games. I'm going to buy him now. And I ended up benching him 3 weeks out of 5. And basically, I could have free hitted him in 30. And in the end, my over planning resulted in me missing out on immediate points. So,
but that's just kind of this season, no? In the past, that long-term planning has definitely worked out in general.
Yes, but okay. So here's an example. When you're picking two types of players for a double game week, you have Madison and Vardy, like Leicester. They play Watford first, and then Chelsea second, whereas Villa played Crystal Palace first and Burnley second. Mm-hmm. The dynamics of the game move so fast that after the first game against Crystal Palace, the whole thought about how Villa were going to approach the next game changed. And we applied the same thinking that they're going to attack the Burnley game as if it was happening at the same time. But it wasn't. The table had changed, the injuries had changed, the form of players had changed. So basically, that thinking was off, in that we should have just focused on attacking the first game, because that is the information that we have, the very solid information that we have. So let's say, for instance, I should have gone for Madison and Vardy. I did on free hit, but if I should have had more focus on that when I was making a decision, if I had to choose one or the other, for instance. So it's things like that, because I know that the Watford game is first, and we know how weak Watford are, and that was the game to target. So going forward, I think having a weight, instead of looking at, okay, I'm going to look for 4 game weeks. We're going to pick the player that is best for 4 game weeks. What we should be doing is the first game week has heavier weight than the latter 3 game weeks. So if the first 2 games are better and the second 2 games are more mediocre, I think that player should be a higher priority transfer in than someone that has a better 4-game set. Just because after the first 2 games, that same player who you might have been saving for the 3 and the 4 just doesn't add up. Like the dynamic might have changed. Maybe they brought in a new player. Maybe one of the other key players got injured and he gets moved back out of position. The priority should be it's heavier early, less importance on being good in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Not to say that looking at those timeframes is bad, because obviously long-term planning is what makes the most successful managers. Just that the weighting of priority for transfers should be more heavily on the immediate 1-2 games.
Very, very interesting stuff. I
so
love picking
that's
up
why I was thinking this season. I think that's where I've been tripped up a lot this season, where I'm looking at the game in 3 or 4 weeks time, and yes, those games will come by, but by then those players that you think were really good assets at that time might actually prove not to be that great.
Yeah, I hear you completely, Cam. I did the same with Harvey Barnes. You mentioned Maddison. I looked at Leicester's fixtures and I used my last chip in game week 29. And so I had to kind of plan for the long term. And I brought Barnes in thinking that, Leicester are going to have these doubles. Barnes is, looks to be nailed on. And he doesn't have the greatest fixtures in the short term, but he's someone that I'll probably want to hold all the way through till potentially the end of the season. And by the time the doubles came around, he was out of the team. He wasn't in Leicester's first choice. He wasn't in form. The landscape had changed so quickly, and I'd already kind of nailed my colours to the mast with Barnes. Yeah, I completely hear you. And with the amount of doubles and the changing of fixtures this season, we've got punished quite a lot, haven't we, when we've been trying to plan for the long term, and then these external factors come in and change those plans.
Exactly. So I think it's not that we shouldn't think about the games 3 or 4 or 5 games down the line. You should, but pick good players from good teams, and I think that should be the priority more than anything, because a lot can change. Everything changed really quickly. I think maybe this season was an anomaly and it made that more pressing. But I think even going forward, I think it makes sense, because there were a number of times I could have brought Herman Son in my team, and I decided not to for a number of reasons, mostly because I thought I could find more value in shorter spans, and it just didn't pan out that way. But something that Mark also said on Black Box was true about this season is that you've never seen players get punished so hard for making an incorrect 50-50.
Yeah.
It's always been like that this season somehow. Like, you pick Fernandes, you pick Ronaldo gets 2 points, Fernandes gets 23. You pick, De Bruyne, or you pick Salah, and Salah gets 4 points and De Bruyne gets 30. It's humongous swings, which has also meant that you could have played a really, really good season this year and probably finished like 150K because you lose every 50-50. And conversely, if you win every 50-50, especially on captains, then you could have had a completely mediocre season, not done a good job with the rest of your team, but finish in like the top 5K, top 1K, just purely from getting the 50-50s correct. So there is a lot of luck. And also, I think what has made it easier for me to stomach is knowing that us FPL managers, as much as control as we like to think we have, we don't really. Like, a player in a single game week, we're picking players in 3 game week spans of time. Bowen, for instance, in the first 3 game weeks, he did almost nothing. Benrahma completely outshot him, outscored him by like 25 points. He ended up being the much better pick in the end, but the people that picked Bowen at the start of the season just got shafted in general. So there's in the short time frames that is variance that is very, very high. And I think accepting that, it can go against you, and it can go against you very often. It can go against you for the entire season. And there's not that much you can control about it. So you can't really be that upset. Just make as many good decisions as you can, and the results will follow.
Yeah.
So, Naldo, have you seen the City news?
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, my friend. I can't believe it. I cannot believe
We
it.
get a start. He needs to
Yeah.
do something now, though.
Yeah.
I kept him as well. So my final transfers were Salah and Richarlison to Son and Vardy. And I kept Mahrez, and here he is. He's got to do some damage now.
Richarlison's also benched, official, apparently.
Yeah, I love that.
That's good. Yeah. Diaz starts, right? Jota starts. Yep. Wow.
Yeah. It's Diaz, Mane, Jota.
Do you guys know who usually comes off first between the three?
I think Jota does normally.
Jota, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if he's going to it depends on the formations.
Yeah, it depends obviously who comes on. But if he's going to bring Origi on, which I think he will at some point, then Origi will play through the middle. So Diaz doesn't play through the middle. He plays on the left. So I don't think Origi's entrance into the game should threaten Diaz. I think it's more likely to threaten Jota or Mane if he's through the middle.
Did we get any Chelsea news yet?
We just know that Saul and Kennedy start.
Oh, what?
Kennedy's starting.
And Mount and Azpilicueta start.
Oh, so James definitely benched, huh?
Yeah.
No Alonso.
Let's see. Seems kind of harsh to not give Alonso a game, because a lot of people are thinking he's moving on this summer, right?
The latest on James is unconfirmed. So the source, the ITK for Chelsea, he's not given anything away for James. All he's saying is that Mount Aspi start, Saul Kennedy start. I'm struggling to see where James fits in there.
It's so funny. We have like a couple minutes till the official comes out, yet we're, just trying to get it a couple minutes earlier.
Yeah. I'm thinking James will be benched.
Yeah, likely. Wow, Mars start is huge. Hopefully he gets.
Yeah, I'm so excited now that Mars starts.
Yeah, that's huge.
If I knew he started, he'd be up there with captaincy options. So
for sure. What's the deal with Danny Ings needing a rest? I mean, we talked about 50-50 calls last week. Captaincy for Richarlison or Ings, I think that was close to a 50-50 call.
That was painful. Yeah. You guys went.
Yeah, it definitely was close to 50-50 that one.
No, I took it off Richarlison. I didn't have Ings and I put it on Zaha.
Well, I captain Coutinho, so it's fine.
Yeah, I feel better.
All right. Do you guys think, who do you think is going to finish in the top 2 places, and also who will get relegated?
I think Leeds will get relegated. I just think that Brentford at home, they're a strong team, particularly at home. Leeds have struggled recently defensively, ill-disciplined, as you already mentioned. So I think Leeds will go down. Burnley playing Newcastle at home. I can see Burnley getting at least a point out of that game. So I think Leeds will go down, and I just don't see City losing the title. I think that they'll get a goal. They've got too much firepower, and then they'll just squeeze the life out of the game.
Yeah, I think City win the league. I'd be
what
surprised
about relegation?
If they don't win this game.
I had to tweet Mara starts. Cam, you must be excited. This is good news, huh?
It is good news. Man, I was so close to doing Mars to Diaz.
For a hit,
that would have hurt.
I think Pickford's rested.
Pickford's rested?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Okay, 1 minute, apparently.
That's a lot of lineups.
Yeah, this is going to be chaos. What do we care about, really? We know the
James.
Liverpool.
Oh, James.
We know the
bench.
City.
Chelsea.
Is
We
he?
need a Chelsea lineups.
Oh,
Yeah,
James
we've got-
starts.
Oh, James starts. James at right wing back. Come on.
Unbelievable. It's for sure.
Yeah, this guy looks legit.
Unbelievable.
We're here.
Wow.
Wow.
The luck is
Here we
on
go.
my side.
Yeah, so Chelsea
Yeah,
probably
getting- And Mahrez starts is it's a real win. Like even if it doesn't work out, getting the starts is big.
Can't hide my smile right now.
Oh wow. This is huge.
Has this worked out for all of us, right? Let's go through our teams. one more
James
time.
is starting. James is
James
starting.
is starting.
Confirmed. The
Beautiful.
lineup for Chelsea. Do you want me to read the lineup for Chelsea?
Yes, please.
So Mendy in goals, Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, and Rudiger. And then the wing backs, we've got James and Kennedy. In midfield, we've got Kante and Saul. And then up front, Ziyech, Havertz starts, and Mount.
Let's go,
So that
boys.
means, yeah, Lukaku's on the bench. But James starting is absolutely huge. Alonso's
Isn't
not
in the
even
squad.
on the bench. He's not even in the squad.
He's not even in the squad.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I guess that's okay for managers because he's not going to cameo. No, Pickford.
Wow.
Reece James is huge.
Did they have a falling out or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, the Arabic leak was correct. It's Ederson, Stones, Fernandinho, Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, Foden, and Jesus.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, looking at our teams, I think I've got all 11 starters.
Yeah, we do. Let's go back. Start with your team, Ryan. You made. Who did you change?
Yeah, so I took out Coutinho for Diaz, Luis Diaz, and Richarlison to Tony.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm happy. I'm so happy with that. Reece James is huge.
Best of luck, my friend Ryan. This is
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Zaha's starting for sure, right?
Yeah, Zaha starting and
And Coutinho as well.
Nketiah starting. Yep.
Wow.
Liverpool lineup, no Van Dijk, no Salah. But everything else pretty much as expected.
Cam, who
Salah
did
benched.
Salah's benched. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did Salah and Richarlison for Son and Vardy.
Son and Vardy. Yeah, that's where your team value starts to.
Yeah,
To
it's
shine.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
It counts for something. What other lineups do we care about?
Wow, this is great drama. We enjoyed this.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Well, we enjoy it because it worked out for us. If you
Yeah,
didn't,
that's
it'd be
right.
Quite a lot
That's right.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mahrez playing is just. I've won already. Don't even
James
need him to get
Wingback
any-
is for sure.
For sure.
Looking at that lineup.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Okay, this Everton team is interesting. Begovic in goal. Iwobi, Kenny, Holgate, Keane, Branthwaite, Davies, Decore, Gray, Calvert-Lewin, and Ali. Dele Ali. Mikolenko is benched.
I knew Delhi would start. He had a good game. Plus, they're not playing for anything. I felt like he was going to start.
Key people from Everton are out that people might have, like Mikolenko, Gordon, Richarlison, all not playing.
Should we? A few people in the chat are asking us to read out the lineups.
Yeah, please.
Just trying to find, a single source of truth, because on Twitter you have to kind of jump through the different teams. Maybe we could divide and conquer.
Sure.
It's on the Scout forums. I have we have someone that has all of them.
Okay.
So I could go through them.
Yeah, please. That'd be
Please.
great.
All right. Arsenal first against Everton. Arsenal, Ramsdale, Cedric, Holding, Gabriel, Nuno Tavares, Elneny, Xhaka, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Nketiah. Everton, I just read that team out. Basically, Mikolenko, Gordon, and Richarlison not involved. Gordon and Mikolenko on the bench. Brentford, and Bruno, Todi, and Vissa all start. Ericsson, is he starting? Yes, Ericsson as well. Leeds United, Rodrigo, Harrison, and Gelhardt, and Rafinha up top. I'm only scanning for fantasy interest, I think, at this point. There's a lot of them. For Brighton, Sanchez starts in goal. Trossard is not in the squad. Interesting. Cucurella starts. West Ham United, Bowen starts, Antonio starts. Those are the relevant players. For Burnley, Pope, Roberts, Collins, Tarkovsky, defense. Cornet starts up front with Barnes, no Weghorst. Newcastle have Wilson and St. Maximin up front, Bruno Guimaraes in midfield, and it looks like Trippier is starting. That's a good team from Newcastle. Dubravka, Trippier, Lascelles, Burn, Target, Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Linton, Almiron, Wilson, and St. Maximin. Chelsea lineup, you've already covered it, Ryan, but really quickly. Mendy, Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Rudiger, James Conte, Saul, Kennedy, Ziyech, Mount, and Havertz. Watford don't have any real fantasy interest from anyone, I think. Oh, Foster does not start.
Oh, who's in goals?
Bachmann.
Oh.
Crystal Palace, Guaita starts. So does Zaha, and Eze and Mateta are benched. Manchester United, the rumors of Heaton starting are not correct. De Gea starts. Dallo, Lindelof, Maguire, Tellers, with McTominay, Fred, Elanga, Bruno Fernandes. Hannibal Mabry starts, and Cavani. So no Ronaldo, but we sort of knew that already. Leicester, Schmeichel starts. Fofana, Evans, Dewsbury Hall, Mendy, Justin, Madison, Tielemans, Castagna, Vardy, and Barnes. Southampton's team, they look a bit depleted, actually. They don't have Perot or Livramento. So McCarthy, Walker-Peters, Lianco, Stevens, Salisu, Redmond, El-Yanusi, Ward-Prowse, Romeo, Armstrong, and Armstrong. Both of them. Liverpool lineup, again, we're skipping. No Mo Salah, no Virgil van Dijk. The rest as expected, with Jota, Mane, and Diaz up front. Wolves, not much to note there.
Is that Southampton team significantly depleted, Cam?
I don't think it looks that much off what they would normally play. It's just both of their fullbacks are out.
Yeah, feels like Leicester's going to run riot here.
It does look promising for Leicester.
Mm-hmm.
Man City team, we covered already. It's Fernandinho at right back. Stone, or maybe Stone's at right back, not sure. I want to trust Fernandinho on the right now. Stones, Laporte, Cancelo defense, De Bruyne, Rodri, and Bernardo Silva in midfield, and out front, Mahrez, Jesus, Foden. Aston Villa, there is no Emi Martinez, indeed. It's Olsen in goal. Cash, Chambers, Mings, and Luka Dean. John McGinn, Douglas Luiz, Jacob Ramsey makes a return. Up front, Buendia, Coutinho, Watkins. No wings. It's a pretty much full strength lineup for Villa, other than the lack of much.
Yeah. With the Villa lineup, though, Gerrard has said recently that they're more threatening in attack when they play with the 2 9s, and now they've reverted back to the 2 10s, Coutinho and Buendia. I don't know. Is that a sign that he wants to be a little bit more defensive, or what are your thoughts around that?
Just goes back to the Christmas tree, right? Where Gerrard excelled previously. So I think that's just the lineup he's comfortable with, and he's just tried to make Watkins and Ings work. Watkins as an inside forward, but maybe he just wants to maybe he's experimenting and trying to figure out what's best for him. But it does feel like, Ryan, it's a good point. It feels like they don't have their sort of their a strategy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like an extra body in midfield. I don't know, but if I was versing the likes of Fernandinho in defence, I'd want to play with 2 strikers and get Ings to square up against Laporte, and then get Watkins 1-on-1 with Fernandinho if possible. But I mean, maybe Ings isn't fit. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it might be to do with the formations. Playing 2 up front against those 2 forwards means he's a body light in midfield. I think Buendia and Coutinho are much more natural at playing in midfield, especially considering they have to play pretty deep in this game.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's pretty much everything. Last lineup is Spurs.
No
completely
surprises.
Expected. They're the most predictable lineup in the league, I think. Lloris, Sanchez, Dyer, Davies, Emerson Royale, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Sessegnon, Kulusevski, Son, and Kane.
Nice. Okay.
Cookie starts for Norwich.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for the deadline stream. This is the last deadline stream of the season. Good luck to everybody. And it was a pleasure to get to know both of you even more. And I'm sure we'll see more of you guys moving forward. FPL Inzaghi, please do give him a follow on Twitter, on his YouTube channel. Plus, you'll see him on Scout with TED Talks FPL quite a bit. FPL Cam, also a good friend of mine and very experienced veteran manager, also found on Twitter. So thank you to both of you guys. Any final words, and then we can wrap it up. Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
You go, Cam. Oh, me? Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
No, thanks, Sonaldo. It's always nice. I mean, this is the first time I've done a stream with you, but I'm a words of affirmation guy. I like it when people give me that, and no, you're a great complimentarian. I think no, I absolutely love it. But no, I've been so fortunate enough to meet so many great people through the FPL community, and I think people will be reflecting on their seasons and their ranks and their points, and that's all great. But I think ultimately, and I know this is a bit corny, but ultimately we've made so many great friends, haven't we, everyone? So reflect upon that. Don't stress about your rank. It's done now. Enjoy the final game week for what it was. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to next season already.
Yeah, appreciate it. Cam?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, Sonaldo, for having me on. It was a pleasure, and I hope next season we can have more opportunity to chat. I know you've complimented us a bunch, but it has to be said how hard you work as well, and how good at FPL you are as well. I know you've only had, I think, 2 seasons under your belt, and the work that you put in makes you a top tier manager. I think having like a lot of past history doesn't make you great. It really doesn't. Like, I don't consider myself even among some of the top players anymore at this game, and I think working really hard and spending the time and preparing that is worth so much more. So
too harsh on yourself, my friend. You are a great manager as well, and affirmations and love all around. So appreciate it, boys. Yeah, thank you guys. Signing off for the summer, and we'll be back and enjoy the football today, mostly, and we'll see you soon. Yep.
Bye.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.